As the Gotham War reaches its zenith, will the Bat family be changed forever? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War, Scorched Earth #1, the grand finale to this crossover series, and find out what happens next, shall we? So then, as we join the book, Vandal Savage is making preparations for the final steps in his grand master plan. He activates his army of thieves to steal the remaining pieces of the meteorite that gave him his amazing immortality powers, of course as a smokescreen to cover the thieves' robberies. Vandal also empowered a bunch of the old Gotham gang lords by giving them Batman's own surplus weapons and armor so they can not only duke it out with the police but also kidnap Tim Drake Robin. And oh man, holy art changes, Batman. This doesn't look like how they were portrayed at the end of the last Catwoman issue. In fact, in that issue it looked like they were starting trouble outside of the same burning building that Catwoman and Batman were in, but now they just kind of aren't anymore. Oops, and this issue is filled with little inconsistencies like this. Now speaking of Bruce and Selina, they're at the Brownstone going over their next course of action, and hey, guess what? Bruce doesn't need to have it explained to him that Vandal's big plan was always to steal pieces of a magic meteor. Because, get this, he actually always knew about the meteor. In fact, he had the biggest piece in his own collection in Wayne Manor that he'd been studying for years to try and better understand the roots of Ra's al Ghul's powers. Well, geez, that sure is convenient, isn't it? It's also here too that Batman has to make his big customary apology to the other members of the Bat family for being, well, an insane danger to himself and others since this book began. But hey, don't worry all you Bat stans who weirdly think that Bruce, even while under the sway of Zernaw, can do no wrong, because this apology is basically a non-apology. Hell, most YouTubers would blush at this non-apology. Basically he says, you know, hey, we're a family, families fight and everything, but we make up and come back together. You might not trust me right now, but I trust all of you, cause I trained you, I know you'll do the right thing. Mainly go fight the villains while I deal with Vandal, and as far as you, Jason, yeah, I'm not actually going to apologize to you about the whole invasive brain surgery and thing. In fact, Batman is gonna stick to his guns this issue and say that it was the right thing to do. Ooh, wow, what a massive dick move, and I don't even love Red Hood the way a bunch of other people love Red Hood, and even I think that this is a total character pantsing, the likes of which the character is probably gonna spend years trying to come back from. And hey, speaking of trying to walk stuff back, there's also Selina. We discover this issue that some of her thieves' acolytes actually did have real backbones and weren't willing to just throw in with Vandal apropos of nothing. Though Catwoman is particularly harsh on herself, saying she doesn't know what hurts more, having her army of thieves betray her, or how easy it was for the Savages to play on Selina's own anger and disappointment in her love life with Bruce to completely so thoroughly manipulate her. Honestly, at this point, Catwoman, take your pick. Batman also manages to squeeze some good old-fashioned detective work into this issue too, figuring that a meteor chunk the size of which Vandal took from the cave would probably be a lot to move, and as such he gets Oracle's help to trace the caveman villain to the Gotham Observatory, where the big finale is set to take place. Meanwhile, back in the city, Nightwing and the rest of the assembled Bat family do their best to battle against the villains who have been greatly empowered by their own Bat tech. In the end, it's Tim who comes out the most valuable player in this fight. Apparently, Bruce had Tim studying all of the different weapons that the villains are using right now, and as such, he knows to countermeasure all of them. Good for Tim, I guess. He could use the big win, especially when we stop and consider that when this Zdarsky Batman era started, it looked like he was going to be the main Robin on this book, only for him to kind of fall into the background. Catwoman eventually joins Bruce for the big final showdown at the observatory, and I mean, why not? This whole Gotham War got kicked off because Batman and Catwoman couldn't properly deal with each other, and as such, it only makes sense for the story to end with them the same way. Batman's done some research, and he figures that all of these meteor pieces actually activate some sort of toxic plasmosis in the human mind. Basically, people feel the subconscious urge to bring all the pieces together, and have done all throughout history, only wait, at the 11th hour they decide to ratchet up the tension by revealing that Vandal and Scandal Savage were never going to improve their immortality with all of these pieces of the meteor on Earth. Oh no, they've come to the observatory because they plan to bring another bigger meteorite to Gotham. One so big, in fact, that it will ultimately wipe out the entirety of the city unless someone can stop it, and because Batman and Catwoman are too busy right now, it looks like that job falls to Red Hood, who, for the second time now in this story, ends up overriding the mental control that Batman put on him to pilot one of the Batwings up to the meteorite and blow it up in a massive kamikaze mission. Again, for the second time showcasing to Batman that maybe he has Jason all wrong and that he does have a good heart and that he isn't some kill-crazy mad dog like he's always treating him. I would say that this was actually a bold and unexpected twist in this story, killing off Jason Red Hood, but no, seriously, he's fine like 5 minutes later. And if that seems like a disappointing cop-out, don't worry, because you ain't seen nothing yet. Now, while a giant meteor won't wipe out all of Gotham City, enough of the debris managed to fall to Earth, creating a brand new Lazarus pit under the Gotham Observatory. Vandal hopes that this will be the thing to finally fix his failing powers, and he's so gung-ho about it, he betrays his daughter. Damn it, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal, evil father. You know, for me personally, one of the most annoying things about the Gotham War story is that as a Scandal Savage fan, they never do bother to explain why she's thrown in with her father right now and why she wants to be immortal. This new Meteor Lazarus pit is of course incredibly unstable, and Vandal himself ends up getting lost when the whole thing starts to cave in. Catwoman heroically swoops on down to try and save Scandal, who despite all the betrayals, she still personally sees as a friend and values all the time they spent together, even though Scandal was pretending to be another person. It's weird, I know. For all her trouble too, Catwoman also ends up falling into the Lazarus pit, seemingly to her death, even though we know it's not her death because it's not like they canceled the Catwoman book or anything. Seriously, 2 fake-out deaths back-to-back? What is this book's problem? With the Savages properly defeated, though, everything slowly but surely starts to get back to normal in Gotham City, or does it, with a brand new Lazarus pit popping up right in the middle of America. Amanda Waller and the army have decided to set up shop and try and claim it for themselves. Nightwing also comes to Bruce, desperately trying to get him to seek help for his Zur-En-Ah problems that have been dogging him all series long, only for Batman to go, nah, Zur-En-Ah didn't make me do those horrible things. I was the one who openly attacked you and called you ungrateful and left you for the cops. Yep, that was me, totally not Zur-En-Ah. Even though, let's face it, totally wasn't. I have no idea who Bruce is trying to fool right now. Moreover than that, Bruce says he actually likes things the way they are now, with him being cut off from the greater Bat Network, and that perhaps this would be a better future for the mission, with him going his own separate solo way, with Nightwing and Barbara becoming the true mother and father figure within the greater Bat family. Because let's face it, Bruce and Selina both earn a fair share of the blame for cocking this up as hard as they did. And yeah, with that, the book is kind of over, but we get 2 more strange stingers, one involving Batman refusing help from Riddler, who's actually been assisting him all series long. I only bring it up because strangely this exchange has Nigma re-invoking the existence of 3 Jokers and Batman saying he's going to devote more time to trying to solve that problem. But didn't you already solve that? Also, Batman and Catwoman are briefly reunited on a rooftop, though we never actually see Selina's face. She does leave behind a mysterious flash drive saying that Batman might need it for an emergency. That's a really weird way to end it, but believe it or not, there's actually another epilogue after that wherein we see another one of those professional cat burglars who was still actually loyal to Selina break into Bruce's brownstone, something I'm shocked didn't happen sooner, only for this random thug to end up stumbling upon the makeshift Batcave and the secret that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person. Okay? And so that was Batman Catwoman The Gotham War Scorched Earth issue number 1, a messy and inconsistent feeling finale to what was ultimately a messy and inconsistent feeling story arc overall. I really did think Gotham War could end up going either way as a story, but man alive, did they ever drop the ball right here at the finish line. For what it's worth, there's certainly some truth in advertising calling this one Scorched Earth, because they really did scorch the earth for the Bat family, and I honestly can't really tell why they did this. What was wrong with the current Batman status quo that they felt they needed to shake it up? I mean, I know this is Batman comics we're talking about, and Bruce will alienate himself from the rest of the Bat family every 5 to 8 years like clockwork, but here it really did feel like it came out of friggin' nowhere. I was really disappointed with how Vandal ended up shaking out as a villain, which is a shame because I thought he actually could be a good foil for Batman, yet here he mostly ends up defeating himself. The art is really inconsistent. A lot of the character arcs, if you can call them that, kind of stop and start. I have no idea what lesson Red Hood was supposed to take away from this. Despite being like the 3rd most important character in this story, maybe it's because Zurin brainwashing actually isn't shit at the end of the day, but I wonder how long it's going to take another writer to undo any of this, if they even remember. Also, for a story that started by trying to have such high-minded conversations about the justice justice system. Vigilantism and recidivism, kind of all of that got lost and swept away for just a big generic punch 'em up, am I right? Which again, as I've stated time and time before, you can bring in as many high-minded ideas pulled from the headlines as you want when it comes to a Batman story. The status quo will always be returned to. Much like how Batman will inevitably make up with the rest of the Bat family. It might take 5 to 8 years, but it's gonna happen because we've been doing this dance forever. Overall, I would give this one a 6 out of 10, and I think a lot of that is me being generous for imagining a better story that could have been with this one. All I will say though is, can we please get back to our regularly scheduled Batman adventures? It's November 1st and I'm already feeling evented out.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.